Hello YouTube, De-bodgery here. Welcome to EV Components Review. On the bench is the dissected Moto factory spec motor. Yep, totally taken apart. This is just a teaser. There will be more video coming on this motor very soon. Anyway, just wanted to show you a few things about it. So here is your position sensor. There are two wires for temperature that go through this shell. And I have cut those wires, so here is that. I didn't much care for this. They should have put a connector inside so you could unplug this, because otherwise the temp sensor is permanently attached to here, and getting the covers off and letting them dangle by a couple little wires, in my opinion, is not exactly ideal. Definitely like all of the machining. So attention to detail on the machining on here is pretty good. Yeah, I mean, even like this stuff on the inside makes it look pretty, but it also serves a function, beefs up this section, and like all these areas, and it takes weight away too by machining out those areas and hollowing this out. So that's good. Yeah, definitely like the machine work. I don't know if these pieces were cast first and then machined. That would certainly save some cost in manufacturing rather than just being a solid billet chunk of aluminum. But if they did do that, then all I can say is, well, good job, Moto. That's impressive. And like that too, there's not a lot of weight in here, but there used to be. If that was a solid hunk of aluminum before, and then they machined away most of it to, basically leave a 2 millimeter or so thick piece of aluminum left. But yeah, don't know what it took to make that part cast or machined directly from billet, but yeah, that's a fairly impressive, detailed piece of component right there. Yeah, definitely impressed with the machining work. Here is the other cover, obviously, and it's the same level of detail. So, nicely done. Can't really fault any of that stuff. Flip it over, and you have, pretty much the same level of detail inside. So, decent CNC work on these covers. However they did them, whether these were truly billet aluminum or cast aluminum that was then machined, I can't really say. But yeah, definitely like the covers, and well, that's kind of attractive too. Let's look at the armature since we're here. And that is right here. Let me slide this out of the way. I'll get to the stator in a minute. And there's more coming. So I have taken apart 50, 60 motors and literally never done this ever. This armature was this way from the factory, period. So you can see how the laminations are all separated here. Yeah, I did not cause that. In fact, if I did, then I could put this in my vise, and as you can see, I can squeeze it back together again. And I could squeeze this back together in my vise, and it would just reseat if I did cause that, and I didn't. And I gotta tell you that when I do possibly cause damage to an armature, it's the outside couple of laminations. And if you look all the way around here, there's a little spot that's lifted right there. Maybe I did that, maybe. But this here, not a chance. No, this came from KO this way. They just didn't care. There is clearly something down inside here. I can squeeze this together with my vise. It's got aluminum jaws on it, and I can squeeze that gap together, but as soon as I take the pressure off, it just springs right back open again. There is something down inside this crack that is keeping those laminations from coming together. The only way to fix this is to take all those lams out, take all the magnets out, find whatever junk is in there, remove it, and then reassemble the thing. Is this going to affect performance? Not really, but it's obviously the typical Moto way where we just don't care. So yeah, that was disappointing. I was really hoping that the FSPEC motor was going to be super impressive, and I found this, and that's not the first thing. So let's talk about the next thing I found, and that's going to be about it for this motor for right now. Alright, so the next thing is the stator, and let's look at this side over here. So this side is bound up pretty nicely. I don't see evidence of shellac anywhere. None. So I'm pretty darn sure that they just simply wound it and then bound it with thread. But this side of the end winds is usually your better end anyway, because everything just kind of comes in one side and out the other. I can tell you that wind density isn't that great. Where is my spooger? Yeah, that one will work right there. If I can get it out of my mess of tools. So there is, as you can see, a fair bit of gap in here. I am fairly certain that I can get more copper on here than Moto did. Yep. So anyway, wind density isn't super good. This side is all right. This right here is your temp sensor, and they put it in with with silicone rather than with a thermal component, but whatever. It's still going to work just fine, I think. You can see down inside here all these pieces. This is it's probably not bamboo. This is probably some kind of a fiber board. I don't think that's bamboo, but just for a second I thought maybe it was. The other side of the stator is not quite so good as this side. And let's look at that. So here we go. This motor is a dual Y wind. I'm glad that I got to see a QS165 V2 so that I could understand what this was. So here is your two Y connections right here, and then both sets of windings come together over here. So I don't really have a problem with that. I understand why they do it. It basically means that your copper cross-section is actually significantly higher than if you did a single Y wind. So this side is not so great at all. Anyway, as you can see, I can move all this stuff quite a lot. So anyway, all these windings over here are significantly loose. This is not acceptable. Vibration, thermal transfers, all that kind of stuff is going to cause things to move. Like you can see all this stuff moving. Yeah, that's not acceptable. I do like the binding that they did. They just didn't do it well enough. Or enough. If you look at motors that I've taken apart and rebound, I bind things 2-3 times until I am dead sure it is all snug and tight. So just a single binding like this was clearly not enough, and with movement like this, vibration is going to cause problems over time, and it's going to cause the insulation on one wire to rub against the other. It's just friction, and the insulation is going to wear through. And then you have a short in your windings, in which case your motor is toast. So you definitely don't want to see them moving like this. This is not okay. So anyway, yep, that's everything that I'm going to show you right now. Expect more content on this motor coming real soon, like say tomorrow.